So there was one huge, nice retracement we had this morning. Let's take a look. That was actually almost a 400-point drop. What a drop this morning. So to remind everybody, this actually does not happen often. Does not often happen actually. They do happen. So Q4 we have some manufacturing news for S&P. So this can do something, and some vote just passed for Trump too. That did something. So main idea is for the starter, but as this is not some sell side liquidity is still here. So let's see what open brings. We could maybe come a little bit back and then continue lower, of course. Yeah, not much indicates right here that we want to go up, of course. That was a very strong push down, so any movement that we actually get into one of the value gaps, so best that we can short it off, of course. We did take multiple sessions right now, but still so for anybody that did short this morning, like I said, if we go to the downside and we don't react on previously low, that we could fall further. I did not expect us actually to fall before New York all the way this low already. Now we will continue maybe to here, to around 23,050. That was the maximum that I saw going, 250. Maybe then retrace back up and then continue, but for no news day, that's a nice move. So another 9 minutes still open. about 8 minutes until open, so let's be patient, see what open brings. So I actually marked the high from today and the low from today, so this is actually that 50%. If we do have one over retracement, probably it will be to that 50%. If you want to continue lower, if we do have a small push back up, that would be the highest that we can take it to. Or that I would take it to. So we do have a small, looking like that wants to go a bit higher, but I don't want to be patient until open actually comes. Three more minutes and then we have to open again. We will see, but it looks like maybe a small movement up to take a little bit of liquidity and then continue definitely to the last low that's here. we'll definitely take this. Or straight off open, we go to the low, or we can just retrace and maybe it'll just add small fair value gap here and then continue lower. That's my first idea what the market will do. And then once we hit that low, we actually will have to see what happens. I think there was a very strong reaction off of this fair value gap and then immediately back to the lows. This is open. So here comes our low already, so this was actually what I was expecting. Once we came open, we take this higher. If we haven't changed the direction right here, I have a 15th minute go back up, we can take it at least to here. So that would be a small retracement in this huge, rather big drop off or sell off. But if we continue to fall, yeah, that can be still a big drop. So in about 5 minutes we will definitely know what this market wants to do, if it wants to continue or not. So if it doesn't, we will have a very strong reaction off of this. We just took, look, all the sell side liquidity here has just been taken. We still came into for value gap that was left untapped. But if the market does not want to change hands right here, then the most obvious point would still be 22,770. But that is a little bit abnormal for a movement to do 700 points in a day. It did happen before, so if we go down, we will follow, of course. if we have a reaction to the upside, it should actually be around this level. Maybe we can come for that even number, that 23,000 level right here. That's only about 25 points more to the downside. Doesn't have to, so we came in for value gap, a 6 hour by the way. We took buy side, sell side liquidity, so if we do push up, there is a possibility we actually come to that 250 level at least back up. And that's just 50% of this huge range when we go down. So we got about 10 more minutes for this 15-minute range. Still looks okay. 78 points. So if we can stay around here, that would be great. Not too big of a range would be nice. A bit of a smaller range would be nice. This was actually a decent move off of that low, straight away back up to the high, so it's good to indicate if we want to continue higher that we maybe can hold on for a bit and then continue that move. But this is actually what I was expecting to see once we hit that low. I hope the market has a bit of patience for us. That we have a nice entry still. So we do get news in 5 minutes. Exactly when the range actually formed. Davis today hit. I believe that was his play for today. So we got about 130 point range at this point. And it keeps going, so yeah. Two more minutes. So about 10 seconds. So we have a range that's about 152 points. So that's a decent range that we have today. If we're lucky, maybe we can get back to that 5-minute for value gap right here. And then see how we react off of this. That would be an ideal play, of course. So if you have a breach to the upside, that's still that 50% level that I would look for. And then see if we have a reaction over this, that we actually continue higher, yes or no. So actually all sell side liquidity has been taken at this point. Two more minutes. The only thing is we do have a 5-minute for value gap just inside that range. So the thing is we actually have to put our stop all the way down there. So that's a 150 point stop. So that's not a small stop, that's a 300, yeah, okay. But I do want to see an expansion of the market, of course. So once we tap that 5-minute right now, if we can tap this and actually fill it up and then continue the movement, that would be even better. Now we can actually reduce our range by a lot. So anybody in here that trades ILM that took this, that was actually a nice play. This was actually the full inversion of this candle, so that was the entry immediately. We now came in the second 15 minutes for value gap, so the reason why I said this is that same as one of the lessons we came over to premium and discount. So that 50% of that huge range is actually where the market is drawn to balance itself back out. So for the 50% range is actually almost impossible to take, so that's like 0.3. The only thing that we can do is reduce our stop actually to 23,000. That would be make it a 1 hour. Does look like the market wants to continue a bit further higher, so 50% is very close. If you took this, yeah, you can put your stop max range like 23,137. We probably immediately go to that level. I don't want to see us even come back touching the orbs range, otherwise I would definitely take half immediately off. So I do want to see that push after that liquidity sweep. The only thing is you cannot take this if you would put your stop all the way down. It's impossible. So what do we come to here? Right here is that 1 hour for value gap. Actually we just tapped it. And there is one just above that 50% level too. So that would actually be the next 10. For the next 8 minutes I do not want to see us come back to our entry. I do want to see that push further actually right now. Well, that was a very strong push from that low, so be put a bit above 50%, that would be 20,252, but be able to drag it up. So if you're in this, so once we hit that level, you can always choose if you have multiple, if you have more than one contract, and to take maybe one off here, and then see how we push higher, yes or no. Still, what my stop is now is still, how much is this? That's still 60 points stopped. I do want to see that continuation. If we come back to that entry, I don't want to see it happen. Yeah, if we come above that high right here, the 50% level, I put it immediately to break even. And then let the market decide if it wants to go higher. Just because this is actually a retracement of a continuation downwards, so in retracement we always need to be a bit more careful, take a little bit sooner, break even a bit sooner, take profits too, just because of the reaction can come off that 50% level. So it missed it by a point, so that's actually that. You can count that at a 50% level, guys. That's just like a point. Just that you know. I would put it. I would put my stop at BE. If it comes back, it wants lower targets as then. So again, for everybody, if you entered this, I would put my stop already at BE. I don't want to see it come down. I don't want to see that continuation directly. If it comes back, yeah, that's just... You can see how strong this 15 minute is, so it should push further. Nonetheless, if you like my wife, you don't like BEs, you can just leave it where it is. But this is what I would do. So here we can watch how the market reacts on that 50% level. So, or it gets this very strong push back down now, or it just will go a little bit sideways and then continue higher. So those were the two options right here, what we could get. If we have that continuation, the next highest will of course be 203,300 level with my first IDB, and then higher of course right here. Maybe 321. So no matter what the market does now, actually, you didn't give anything to the market, so you followed plan. You entered on a 5-minute close, and now we let the market decide what it wants to do. I know there is a 5-minute value gap right here, so if it taps and then continues, okay, be okay with it. If you are not happy if the market should come back into this 5-minute right here and then continue higher, then leave your stop where it was, of course. But I would already done this now. Just the reason because if the market pushes up after a sweep immediately like 200 points, that does not have, like I said, we had a 300 point drop and we had an immediately reaction of 230 points back up, so that's a strong move. So if somebody did not understand why I took this as my first target level, again I'll go over it. So if you take the morning session, so this was 8 o'clock, so this was actually the full morning session was from here, of course. If you take a FIB, you can actually draw a movement, so that 50% level is just a little bit higher than that. I prefer to go a bit under that, so this is actually that range that we have, and we traded from here off liquidity zone up to that 50% level. So that's the first target that the market actually wants to go for if we have a retracement back up. Yeah, there was max 1.1 that you could get out of this trade if you took your stop where I would have put it. Otherwise this trade was impossible to take, just because of, yeah, if we draw our stop all the way to the low, that was only a 0.3 trade to take, so that was not worth it. That's the reason why I actually increased my stop higher. And New York does not always come back to those gaps. London does that more often, or pre-London actually does that often. It was a pretty strong push immediately off of that first So now I do want to see that continuation directly, so otherwise we probably will come back to that low because of this first strong push. Now I do want to see us continue. We came in a 15-minute for value gap right here, but we inverted also with a 15 minutes, so it's actually quite a strong push. So if you're in this, that would be a 1.3 right now. If it goes, yeah, next target, like I said, could be right here. So we're only a half hour in the market, and we're actually already up 1 hour, so easy session at this point. I do want to see that, like this strong candle, that continuation right here, that we don't come under this liquidity again. Otherwise we probably get stopped at BE here. Okay, so there was news at 4 o'clock too. It's red, so it should be green for us in the market. Yeah, the only possibility that I see the market wants to change hands is right here. That we continue then that move that we were doing this morning. This is why I actually asked to all of you to put your stop at B or take profit here. Of course, that's the same for you. I'd rather see it come actually to that second 15 minute right here. So we tap the 5-minute fair value gap right now. Let's hope it's enough for the continuation. Yeah, I did not want to be in this trade anymore once we came back all the way to this fair value gap. That was actually the reason too why I wanted to put it at BE. Because of a 200 point move up, we always can see a bit of a retracement, but it's just because that 50% level is right here. That's the second reason why I did not want to see the market actually come back down. Because if the market wants to continue actually that continuation that it's doing right now, this is the place where it will act off. So it's one to remember by. If you ever see a big move and we have retracement, that 50% level is actually a very strong bounce off that we could see a retracement of back to that low, of course. But if we hit that high now, we can actually add to this trade. And then you can put your stop under this wick. So yes, it's still a bit stronger. So it only has like 0.9% down today. Yeah, New York or NQ is about 1% and a bit down. So if we have the continuation, it probably is right here. Came actually into multiple fair value gaps at the same spot, so a 1 minute, a 2 minute, a 5 minute, right here, where this actually, where our candle is now. So this is a 3 minute, that was a 2 minute too. And it's a 5 minute right now, so let's be patient. If you didn't take profit, that would probably be your break even, stop, that would be a hit. Yeah, that was a hit, so log your trade, people. So if you have entered this trade, you took profit, log it. If you did not take profit and you got stopped at just to break even, log it too, so that you know. Take a screenshot of it and post it for yourself. Yeah, if that range was too big to take, that can happen too, of course. But no matter what, if we do come back now in this range, I still would not long off of this. Not because we took that liquidity right here, just the reason because of this 300 point movement to the downside actually shows us that we have strength to move lower. And if we do continue that movement, then I don't want to be longing, of course, after off of a value gap. We still have more than 3 hours in that 4-hour candle right here, so there is a possibility that we in the next 2 hours actually continue that move. So that was actually the play of the day. Not sure if anybody took this. If you did, yeah, congratulations. Was a nice 1-hour trade, quick and easy.
País.
Dois pássaros. Os animais estão longe. Mas nós não conhecemos a cidade.
I'll take a look if I can see anything else that we could enter of course, but it doesn't look like it. The market is just slowly moving back down. So all you had that 15-minute for value gap right here. That could have been a short off, or it was actually the orb play to that 50% range right here. So I'm happy with this trade. It looked good. So we actually stopped ourselves at break even, or we took an R collection off of this. And if the market now continues to go lower, you'll be happy that we stopped at break even. We could have entered it, of course, a bit earlier, but because we're doing the orb model, it's not possible. We had a liquidity sweep. We had a 1 minute inversion right here, so this would have been actually a perfect entry to then take that move up with the stop at the low. So that's a second entry that you actually have information of. Liquidity sweep, higher time frame liquidity sweep, a 1 minute inversion into for value gap, and then continue that move. So here's the depth of that 5 minute for value gap in the way back down. So our entry was already above it, so this would have been a bit in drawdown. I don't think there's any more news today. Yeah, there is one more. US 6-month high bill high yield. I have no idea what that actually is. And Trump makes an announcement at 8 o'clock, so that could be also something that the market wants to move on. Yeah, that's actually the only play that I saw for today. That would have been this orb play. Yeah, if we left your stop right here and we actually hit that high again, that would have been the adding spots too. So if somebody, this is actually, or you had an entry right here. I put that stop back at the low where we came from. Or you be patient until we hit that high and then continue with that move, of course. And then you can put your stop at that low of this candle that tapped it actually. So this is actually a short stream. Not much that we can actually do about it. More than 50 point orb, yeah. It can happen. And most of the time it does continue then in the direction that the orb's actually closed. But just because of the huge range down, I wanted to be conservative. That's all. Is anybody still in this, or did anybody take this?
Ja, een video.
To the upside?
Hij mag het zien daarna. Dus ik word gewoon iedere keer mee omkleden als ik dit zeg.
Too big of a range, yeah. Understandable. That was definitely a decent range. Well, no trading day is also a good trading day, guys. The only reason why we could have taken it extra was actually at that or you could have shorted straight off that 50% level, or you could have been patient and had that this is an entry then to continue to move up. But it's not easy to tell exactly where the market goes when we reach that 50% level. Just because of this 1 15-minute, it doesn't mean that the market cannot continue that movement that it was doing. So I could not give you any information to say, okay, we can hold this all the way back up to that high. It does not always happen that we have a 2-session at least 300 points. The only thing that can move the market that fast or that high is actually our president, or the President Trump. He can actually move the market that high. But also those are already preset, of course. Okay, I'll end this session with that. So, small session. Was an opportunity to take, of course, but then afterwards. Okay, have fun for the rest of the session if you are still trading. And we do hit above that 50% level again, and we continue to hang around here, then we probably go up higher, of course. That we can, of course, take back out London's high. But if we continue lower, yeah, then everything down here would be taken out again, of course. So, wish you all back. I'll see you back tomorrow morning, of course. Enjoy.